Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to race number 34 of Season 5 NNSCRA Walmart Cup Series, which is also the 8th race of the chase for the championship. We are getting so close to the end of the season and to crown a new Walmart Cup Series champion. Hi, I'm Levi McIntyre, aka Thrash Maniac 99, the voice of NNSCRA Walmart Cup Series, here to welcome you to the EA Sports 500 at Talladega Superspeedway. And boy, just to think about it, counting this race and these final three races, we've got two plate tracks we're going to for the remainder of the season here, and then the finale at Armory Digital. But in between that, we got Kansas, and that is the remainder of the season and the chase schedule. Anyways, let's take a look and see how the chase standings look coming into this race. After quite a shakeup in the points after last week at Rockingham, UK, Charles Sanford is once again the points leader, but only by 6 points over rookie William Duncan. Third, a total of 20 points out, is Chris Washer. Fourth, a total of 22 points out, is Dorian Facepuncher. Fifth, a total of 28 points out, is Preston Plord. Sixth, a total of 35 points out, is Matt McIntyre. Seventh, a total of 46 points out, is Sonny Hammond. Excuse me. These next two drivers, both are still mathematically in contention, considering we got a few races left. Eighth, a total of 63 points out, is Michael Norman. Ninth, a total of 68 points out, is Joshua Collard. Then the rest of the drivers are going to be ones, actually these next three, maybe four, are definitely going to need to get good runs and hope guys ahead of them finish behind them in order to stay in mathematical contention. 10th, a total of 82 points out, is David Rivera. 11th, a total of 88 points out, is Jessica Shelton. 13th, a total of 103 points out, is Jesse Setti. And then the one guy who I feel is definitely mathematically eliminated, 14th in points, a total of 136 out, is Cole Daly. With that said, as you see your starting grid on the top of your screen, let's go ahead and get this pace lap going and see who's starting in the top 10. Stephen Pollard III is going to be on the pole. Second, and the highest of the chasers in qualifying, Matt McIntyre. Third is going to be Brandon Nichols. Fourth, chaser Preston Plord. Fifth is chaser Dorian Facepuncher. Sixth, Sean Galligan. Seventh, Seth Cole. Eighth is chaser but eliminated chaser Cole Daly. Ninth, chaser Joshua Collard. And 10th is last week's winner at Rockingham, UK, and that is Mitchell Riggs. And I apologize if we get any lag spikes during this race. For some reason, my game is still not wanting to cooperate. Anyways, however, let's go ahead and let's get ready to go 29 laps of racing here at this racetrack. The biggest of this whole ordeal here at Talladega. Here we go. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys and girls. Stephen Pollard III got off to a nice little run, and Matt McIntyre actually got a very good jump as he's going to get down behind the 93 and stay in the second spot. We gotta keep an eye out, and oh, there goes some cars, and I think I saw William Duncan get a piece of it. He saves it, but we got multiple cars involved. But none I don't see with significant damage. Joshua Michaels, Anthony McCurry, Chase Oliver. Dylan Young got a little piece of it, so too did David Rivera, but he's okay. Oh, we got another wreck. Oh, and that's a car upside down, and that's Seth Cole. And he and Joshua Collard are awkward positioning. Alex Hawkins was involved. And wait a minute. What in the world is James McLeod doing? There's Collard. Kendall Maynard was in that. Jackie Tang was involved in whatever this was. Michael Norman, that might have been the nail in the coffin for him as far as trying to get to the championship. He is damaged again for the second race in a row. Oh, and points leader Charles Sanford was involved. And another guy who desperately needed a good run but is most likely going to be out of contention. That's Danny Wells. A ton of cars involved, and oh, they are stacking up. James McLeod, Joshua Balkin, Ian Dutta. What is wrong with you guys? Chris Washer's car is pretty good. So already here on lap number 1, we have our first caution. And new leader, Brandon Nichols, he got up to the front somehow. Let's go ahead and take a look at a replay of what brought the caution out for the first time today here at Talladega. Well, they were running 4 wide, but they weren't giving each other enough room. Joshua Michaels is going to come up in to chase Oliver Anthony McCurry and William Duncan, and Duncan saves it but gets into his teammate Joshua Balkin, and then we're going to see up ahead here where the second portion of the wreck is going to occur. Not sure as to where, but we'll see. Oh, it's going to be, look, oh, it actually started up ahead here. Oh my goodness, is that Collard? Joshua Collard looked like he was up against, oh man. Oh, it looked like looked like Tim Smith tried making it 4 wide, and Face Puncher actually got down into Seth Cole, into Tim Smith, and then back up the track, and Cole Daly actually got a piece of that. And there's Collard up against the wall, riding along it. That is a wild ride for him, no less. And then Norman slides into the 43. Now we got, wow, there were some hard hits given right there. How did this portion? Oh, it looks like it's going to start when the 52. Hold on. When the 52 of Seth Cole comes back down the racetrack, collects Norman and Trent Dunham, Danny Wells and Ian Dutta, and then Charles Sanford is going to run into Wells, and then Jackie Tang into Kendall Maynard takes a hard hit, and wow, wait a minute. Alex Hawkins right in the driver's door, and look at the wild ride Seth Cole takes. Seth Cole's been known and notoriously for wild flips here in this series. We can all remember back to season 1 at M&M's when he had a 13 barrel roll. I believe it was M&M's, and indeed it was. Let's take a look at that one more time when the 52 just gets clobbered by several cars. Right here, starting with Michael Norman and Trent Dunham, and then Danny Wells, Ian Dutta, and then right there, driver's side first, and then there you saw hits right there from Jackie Tang into Kendall Maynard. That got Maynard to go flying himself. Now, how did Sanford get involved one more time? Let's see. Oh, he's going to clobber Danny Wells. That's what's going to happen. Boom! Hard hit. As we're in there, you see the wildly flipping 52 down on the bottom right. And many chase contenders or eliminated drivers, but were in the chase, were all involved. But man, oh man, that was a wild, wild wreck. But anyways, let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at Talladega. Well, after that first caution, we have many cars out of the race after that huge big one that just happened on lap 1. And those cars that are out of the race are Brandon Nichols, or no, not Brandon Nichols, I'm looking at the lead. Should be looking at the leaderboard. And they are Ian Dutta, Joshua Balkin, Jackie Tang, Cole Daly, Seth Cole, Joshua Collard, Michael Norman. Those two might be eliminated from championship contention, but you never know, because also Charles Sanford's out and he was the points leader. Who knows what is going to happen here. Then Kendall Maynard, Alex Hawkins, And Danny Wells, I think, is definitely the driver out of those cars that were in the chase but still somehow in contention, would be out officially because I don't see him gaining that much points with 2 more races left. Anyways, to quickly look through the field, Brandon Nichols is the leader, second Stephen Pollard the third, third is Dorian Facepuncher, fourth Matt McIntyre, fifth Preston Pollard, sixth is Mitchell Riggs, seventh Tim Smith, 8th is Cody Lamas, ninth PJ Williams, 10th Jecko 9. The rest of the top 20. Austin Weiner, Sonny Hammond, Kyle Matthews, Charles Jackson, James Qualls, Jessica Sheldon, Brandon Gonzalez, Rue McIntyre, Dylan Thoreau, Sean Galligan. Rest of the top 30. Chris Thomas, William Duncan, Trent Dunham, Chris Washer, Dylan Young, David Rivera, Joshua Michaels, James McLeod, Jesse Setti, Chase Oliver, and then the last car left in the field is Anthony McCrory. I still have a feeling we have not seen our last caution. We might have one, maybe two at most, but we'll see. But we're going to see some great racing still. And here we go, green flag back out with 24 laps to go. And already we got a battle for the lead happening. Stephen Pollard III trying to get back to where he was at the big start of the race before he got passed by Brandon Nichols. He wants to lead the lap, considering he was a pole setter for this race. And look at that, 3 chasers. We're actually running a 3-car tandem for a moment. Dorian Facepuncher, Preston Pollard, and Matt McIntyre. We're all running in a tandem together, but they got separated. And now here comes Dorian Facepuncher down low for the top spot. But will he be able to get to the lead? I think he might. And it looks like he might lead this lap. Did he? Yeah, he did by 0.02. So Dorian Facepuncher in the lead, and he's already won 3 times. 3 times this season. He wants to go for a 4th and also for his 5th career win of in his sophomore season. Out of all the guys who ran Rookie of the Season candidates last season, in Season 4, you would have thought Mitchell Riggs, who won that award, would have been the guy to potentially be a contender. But Dorian Facepuncher, who I believe finished, I think, 3rd or 4th in the Rookie of the Year or the Rookie of the Season standings, and he's been the one who's been doing the best out of last season's rookies. He's won 3 times, he's in the chase and is in the hunt for the championship still, and he's up at the lead right now to try to go for his 4th win of the season and 5th of his career. Is back there after these top 8 or so, they are 3 to 4 wide back there. As long as they don't lean, it's good. But if they start to lean, that's when it can get really bad. And, oh, Austin Weiner, get off of Charles Sanford. There you go. Back here, 4 wide with Stephen Pollard III, Jecko Knight, Tim Smith, and Preston Pollard. Then you got Jesse Setti, William Duncan trying to get back up into the mix. Joshua Michaels, Dylan Young running in a 2-car tandem just a little bit further back. And then David Rivera, Chase Oliver, those two might not be up to speed. And Anthony McCrory slow. Same with McLeod. So only a couple of cars not up to speed. So if they were to catch him, if we were to stay in a green flag run, they might end up catching him, but I don't think they're going to have as bad of a time to get by him. And oh, there goes Facepuncher and Sheldon and Thoreau around, and Trent Dunham gets collected. Oh, and Facepuncher flipping wildly. Matt McIntyre's upside down, and who is that upside down again? That is Joshua Michaels. Oh my goodness, this was a massive wreck again. 2nd time this race. And many chasers, Sonny Hammond, Matt McIntyre, Facepuncher, Shelton. Pollard was collected in this as well. So was Trent. Oh, William Duncan, who came in 2nd in points, hoping to get to the points lead, but now he is junked. Tim Smith was involved. Same with Charles Jackson. And another chaser, Preston Pollard, was caught up in it. Austin Weiner, Dylan Thoreau, Dylan Young. My gosh, there's not even going to be hardly anybody left to battle for the win now. Only about maybe 15 cars at most are going to battle for the win. Other cars are either off the pace or going to be damaged or retired. That was a big wreck, and James Qualls is the leader. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the second time today here at Talladega. Well, this wreck starts, they were running 3 wide and running at least fairly well, and then Face Puncher decided to go down a little bit, and he's going to get into Jessica Shelton, and that's going to kickstart, and Dylan Thoreau was just an innocent bystander in that mess. And then there you see Trent Dunham, and then down when Face Puncher got PJ Williams, and he got the wall a little bit, and then as Face Puncher came back up, flipping, he collected many, many cars, and there you see them 8s upside down, and then the 97 after getting shoved in there by Dylan Young, that's going to get him going upside down. Man, this was just a big wreck. This was bigger than the previous caution because more chasers were involved in this, and there's only going to be a couple of chasers that are going to be left in the field, Chris Washer being one of them, and he's going to benefit the most from this. But let's see the amount of flips Face Puncher takes. There was 1, there was 2, 3. Let's see, 4. And then about 5. So about 5 times he went flipping, and then Michaels, I think, went over just once. But the 8 car, that's a different story. Let's see how the 8 of Matt McIntyre got in it. Oh, he was down low, and right as when Plord got in the Face Puncher, the 8 just had nowhere to go, and he had Tim Smith right behind him. He got hit into the wall and up in the air and into the wall, and then he got forced to go upside down, and I think he only went over for about 1 flip, I would say. Man, just could have gotten away with only a potential 4-car accident, and it ended up piling up at probably over 10 of them at least. But just man, oh man, that was massive. Let's take a look at one last time from the spectator camera. But yeah, Sheldon and Face Puncher just made contact, and wow, Chris Washer nearly got collected. That would have been potentially all of the chasers wrecked in this race, and that could have been huge for the chase standings. But Washer is going to be the guy who's going to benefit the most. He might walk out the new points leader. But look at all the cars that got collected. William Duncan, who was hoping to get the points lead. Doesn't look like it's going to happen here. I mean, just look at all the cars. The carnage. Wow, Tim Smith nearly got sent upside down. Man, oh man. And David Rivera, I forgot about him. He's still going to be running. So it looks like only 2 chasers, Washer and Rivera, are going to be the ones left to potentially go for the win. But Rivera's a little bit off the pace. But maybe when he gets back into the main pack, that's going to be beneficial for him. But we'll see as we go back to the restart here at Talladega. Well, after that massive crash, we only have 18 cars left in the field, everybody else out of the race, and the drivers who are now retired as a result of that massive wreck excuse me, are William Duncan, Jecko Knight, Charles Jackson, Jessica Shelton, Preston Plord, Dylan Young, Dorian Face Puncher, Dylan Thoreau, Sonny Hammond, Austin Weiner, Matt McIntyre, Tim Smith, and Joshua Michaels. The cars that are left, and some of them might still be able to go for the win. Mitchell Riggs is up in the front. Second is James Qualls, and these cars did all pit, by the way. Third, David Rivera. Fourth, Chris Thomas. Fifth, Brandon Nichols. Sixth, Sean Galligan. Seventh, Chris Washer. Eighth is going to be Brandon Gonzalez. Ninth, James McLeod. 10th, Kyle Matthews. 11th, Chase Oliver. 12th, Cody Lamas. 13th, Anthony McCrory. 14th is going to be Rue McIntyre. 15th, Stephen Pollard III. 16th, PJ Williams. 17th, Jesse Setti. And 18th is Trent Dunham. I would say only about 15 of these cars are going to be able to battle for the win. The ones I say won't would be Stephen Pollard III, Anthony McCrory, and Chase Oliver. But I could be wrong with Oliver because I think he and David Rivera both just lost a draft, and that's why they were so far back. But now that they're up here in the main pack draft, they might still be able to go after the win. But we only have 2 chasers left running in the field, and that's Chris Washer and David Rivera, and they are 7th and 3rd respectively. Rivera 3rd, Washer 7th. Washer could be the new points leader, and David Rivera might gain a whole bunch of points on that spot to hopefully stay mathematically in contention. But green flag back out, and it's 16 to go. Like I said, not many cars left in the field and or running for the victory here. Let's actually check on the speed of David Rivera. I think he's a little off the pace. Same with Chase Oliver, so yeah. Didn't see him get collected. I didn't see either of them get collected in any wreck. Maybe it was a result of a stack-up effect during a pace lap or something? I don't know. But now Rivera is going to start to fall back as he is not 100% up to speed. And it looks like Rue McIntyre's getting held up by Jesse Setti. Now he's going to start to try to pick up the accelerator. And now he's getting held up by Chase Oliver and is still getting held up by the 22. But meanwhile, up here at the front, it is James Qualls in the lead. And so far this season, in his rookie season, he has not had that great of a season. He's been floundering pretty much. He's been gradually bad ever since the beginning of the season. He's the lowest active rookie in the rookie standings, 6th in the rookie standings. Whereas it's a close battle between William Duncan and Brandon Gonzalez and Stephen Pollard III for the Rookie of the Season honors. Only separated by like 4 points, I would guess. You might get a freeze here, but I'm just going to double check on that. There you go. Actually, it's 10 points separation between the top 3, and Tang's actually in it. The rookie standings in this race, William Duncan led it by 2 points over Brandon Gonzalez, then over Jackie Tang, Stephen Pollard III, Sean Galligan, and James Qualls. Qualls is 26 points out of the rookie points lead. I don't see him gaining that much ground for Rookie of the Season here and after this with 2 races to go. Right now, the guy who's going to get the most beneficial finish for the rookies out of the people who are fighting for that title of Rookie of the Season is Brandon Gonzalez. He came in 2 points out of the rookie standings for the rookie lead. 2 points behind William Duncan, with Duncan finishing 19th. Stephen Pollard III in 18th, and for any other rookies who are running behind him, no, he has a couple ahead of him in Galligan and Qualls, but I think where he'd be running, where he'd finish either way, I think he'll tie the rookie points lead with William Duncan going into the next race at Kansas, but Gonzalez would get the sole rookie points lead because he has a win from earlier this season. I forget what track it was, but he did win earlier this season. Meanwhile, up at the front, we got battle for the lead as Chris Thomas goes to the point. And I can say, out of the drivers from last season who are rookies that did well, Mitchell Riggs, Dorian Facepuncher, and Chris Thomas, because those were people who made the chase, Chris Thomas has definitely been the one who has done the worst out of those drivers. I believe he came into the race, well, he had done the worst, but he'd been getting on a roll as of late. Same with Mitchell Riggs. Let me check, see where both of those guys were running in the standings. I apologize for that little freeze. Chris Thomas is 23rd in points, and Mitchell Riggs is 25th with that victory from last season. Statistically, though, this season, Thomas has done the worst out of those three. He hasn't picked up a win. He only has 2 top 5s, but 7 top 10s, which is respectable here in this series. But right now, he could turn all that around and pick up his 2nd career Walmart Cup Series win. He won last season. I forget where. If I can recall, I believe it was Road America, I believe was where he won. But now he's about to get challenged because here comes Sean Galligan with Brandon Nichols behind him. And we haven't really talked much about Brandon Nichols for quite a while. Pretty much after winning the Daytona 500, the 77 team has just been on a terrible streak of bad finishes and bad runs. He thought after winning the 500 it was going to be his season, but this season he's been very, very bad. He comes in, oh, and we got another wreck! Cody Lamas, oh my goodness, he is up in the catch fence. 4 cars have wrecked. Cody Lamas, Chris Thomas, Brandon Gonzalez, and Mitchell Riggs. All 4 of those cars have wrecked, and that's going to help bring up some of these other cars up here into the top 10 potentially. Rue McIntyre, who's gotten around the slower machine, same with Trent Dunham. So they may be able to bow for the win, as it's only 6 cars up here in this main pack, and Kyle Matthews has gotten to the lead. Man, oh man. Melee continues to happen. With 9 to go, let's go ahead and take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the 3rd time at Talladega. Well, they were running 4 wide together, but it looks like Mitchell Riggs is not going to give Cody Lamas room. He's going to come up and get into him, into Chris Thomas, and then right into Brandon Gonzalez, and Cody Lamas went for a flip and then goes right in, rides along the catch fence and the top of the wall. That was a wild, wicked ride for that 48 car of Cody Lamas, who has not had that big of a season, even though he has one of the drivers with double-digit top 10 finishes. He's just not had that great of a season. Yeah, he goes flipping over once, ends up on top of the wall and into the catch fence, as Thomas, Riggs, and Gonzalez are all piled into that with the 48. And then the 48's going to finally get off the fence and off the wall and then back down onto the racetrack. And it's crazy that it was only those 4 cars, but it was just that small of a group of cars that it wasn't that big of a deal. But still, that's a tough break for those guys. Anyways, let's go back to the restart here at Talladega. Well, after that last caution, 4 cars, as I expected, would be out of the race. Mitchell Riggs, Cody Lamas, Chris Thomas, and Brandon Gonzalez. 14 cars. That is right. 14 cars are left on the racetrack. So, and also about half of these cars are slow, off the pace, or damaged and are off the pace. So it's only going to come down to probably about 5 or 6, potentially 7 cars left to decide this thing. Kyle Matthews is the leader, 2nd is James Qualls, 3rd is Sean Galligan, 4th Brandon Nichols, 5th Rue McIntyre, 6th is Trent Dunham, 7th Jesse Setti. I forgot Setti is a chaser and is trying to get to stay in contention, and she might be able to get it done, as we just had a big lag spike. I apologize. 8th is Chase Oliver, 9th PJ Williams, 10th is Chris Washer, 11th is David Rivera, 12th Anthony McCrory, 13th Stephen Pollard III, and 14th is James McLeod. Only 3 chasers running left in the field: Setti, Washer, and Rivera. And Washer, I expect potentially to get the points lead. So we'll see what happens here in these final 5 laps of the race. I hope that is it for cautions. I hope we can just settle down with a nice clean battle at the end here. And I just think we might consider the amount of cars left in the field after 3 wrecks that has taken out about 28 cars. to my estimation. 28 cars wrecked and out of the race. But anyways, we're getting ready to go. 5 to go, and Kyle Matthews is the leader, and he has had a struggle of a season in that 24 car. Green flag back out, and he wants to go to victory lane again. It's been a long time. I believe since the season 2 Daytona 500. It was season 2. The Daytona 500 was the last time I can remember Kyle Matthews last in victory lane. And he wants to get another victory, and he's got a good shot at it here, and this is a very good track for him considering he won the 500, which is a plate track just like here. He might be able to just pull it off. He's got Qualls behind him, then it's 3 wide for third with Brandon Nichols, Sean Galligan, and Rue McIntyre. And Rue McIntyre, wait a minute, Chris Washer's blown up! Chris Washer's motor has failed. What in the world happened to the 5? Chris Washer, another chaser, has problems. He's got a blown motor. That's going to really shake up the point standings now. Meanwhile, James Qualls up at the front. The only chasers left in the field are Jesse Setti, David Rivera, who desperately needed good runs and hoped that the other chasers ahead of him would get into trouble. And pretty much all of them have, except for those 2. The Lone Rangers, the lone survivors out of the chase drivers, Setti and Rivera, still running on track and running in the top 10. Chase Oliver coming down the pit road. But meanwhile, it's going to come, looks like it's going to come down to one of these 5. Qualls, Galligan, Nichols, McIntyre, and Matthews. With P.J. Williams trying desperately to get to that pack, but he's got nobody behind him. Except for possibly Trent Dunham, but he's slow. A little bit slower than Williams is. So yeah, it looks like it's going to come down to one of these 5. And here comes Brandon Nichols down low for the top spot for himself with help from Kyle Matthews. Galligan and McIntyre trying to work a tandem together to get back up there. And now Rue McIntyre, what's he doing? He's going in the pit road. Did these guys not get enough fuel in their cars? I thought they all pitted during the last caution because I saw cars go in the pit road and come out. Either they came in but didn't get all the fuel they needed in there. I'm not sure because now it's going to come down to just 4 to settle it out. Matthews, Qualls, Nichols, and Galligan. Man, we're 1.5 laps to go. This is going to get really interesting and really tough on these guys. The pressure's on. 2 veterans, Matthews and Nichols. 2 rookies, Qualls and Galligan, going at it double wide apiece for their respective spots to try to get that victory. But it looks like Galligan, I thought he was going to go into pit road, but he's staying out. He wants to try to potentially stretch it in order to potentially get his, I don't know if it's his 2nd win. Yeah, I apologize for I freeze. I was looking at the points. Yeah, this would be for his 2nd win of the season if he can win. But the white flag is out, and James Qualls is the leader. Top 10 last scored. Qualls, Matthews, Nichols, Galligan, Williams, Setti, Dunham, Rivera, McCrory, and Pollard. And now here comes Brandon Nichols down low, but they're going to catch that lap car of Chase Oliver. That could be a game changer as to who is going to prevail where. Nichols is getting held up. Qualls is trying to go up high, but now Oliver is going to hold up Qualls. Oh man, and here comes Kyle Matthews down low. Will Kyle Matthews be able to get to Nichols? I don't think it's going to be close, but checkered flag. Brandon Nichols wins the Talladega 500 at Talladega, or the EA Sports 500. I don't care, that was an exciting finish right there. Close battle between Matthews and Nichols, but Nichols prevails with the victory. Man, after such a struggle after winning the Daytona 500, he finally gets his 2nd win of the season, and I believe that would be his 7th career Walmart Cup Series victory right there, to my knowledge. So great job for Brandon Nichols to finally come to victory lane once again. Let's take a look at the results now after that chaotic final lap. Brandon Nichols comes away with his second win of the season, 7th of his career. Great job for that number 77 Jasper Ford out of Penske. Kyle Matthews tried to get that victory. He was so close right there at the very end, but just couldn't get there quick enough. He comes away in second. Sean Galligan's solid performance at third. He was the highest of the rookies. James Qualls, who had the lead on the last lap, but he got held up by Chase Oliver, and he tried to go up high to avoid it, but he just got held up. PJ Williams, solid run in fifth. Trent Dunham, great job at finishing sixth. Jesse Setti, the highest chaser, and then David Rivera right behind her. Those two are going to get so much points out of that race considering where they were in points and how far they were back. There's still a little bit of hope left for those two to somehow, some way, get back into contention. I think Rivera's going to get a little bit more because Setti did come in a little over 100 points out, so she would have had to have potentially won if she wanted to definitely stay in contention, but it's going to be close. You'll see in the point standings. Anthony McCrory, solid run of 9th despite being off the pace, and James McLeod with a 10th place finish. And then the final two cars that finished on the lead lap were Stephen Pollard III and Rue McIntyre, with Chase Oliver lap down. Everybody else was out of the race. Chris Washer, Mitchell Riggs, Cody Lamas, Chris Thomas, Brandon Gonzalez, William Duncan, Jecko Knight, Charles Jackson, Jessica Sheldon, Preston Plord, Dylan Young, Dorian Facepuncher, Dylan Thoreau, Sonny Hammond, Austin Weiner, Matt McIntyre, Tim Smith. Then it was Joshua Michaels, Ian Dutta, Joshua Balkin, Jackie Tang, Cole Dally, Seth Cole, Joshua Collard, Michael Norman, Charles Sanford, Kendall Maynor, Alex Hawkins, and Danny Wells. That does it for our coverage today here at Talladega after a crazy race we had here. But we got 2 races left in the season. Kansas is next, and then the finale at Armory Digital. But until then, here are your results: rookie points, chase points, regular points heading into Kansas. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.